All right, everyone, welcome to the weekend edition of Markets with myself, Michael Nauss, chartered market technician, quantitative trader with StatsEdge Trading. Again, what we do every day is we go over the markets, kind of talk about what the markets are doing, Bitcoin, crypto, FX, all that, and then we go into on the weekly charts, right? We take a step back, take a zoom out, and see what's happening on the weekly charts. At the end of the month, I'm going to start doing this for monthly as well, just to take a real far look back. So these ones are a little bit longer, and I like them a little bit better just because, it's more of my style, this kind of longer term type of look at the market. So if you want access to this every single day, emailed directly to you, you're probably seeing it on some social media platform. If you just want it in your email inbox, you can go to statsedgetrading.com. You can sign up for the email there. If you're watching it on any of those social medias, like, subscribe, share, whatever, all the stuff that the algos like. And if you want access to any of the trading tools you see me use, link is in the description below or over at statsedgetrading.com as well. So, with all that out of the way, let's get into Bitcoin here. So, we got the anchored view app from all-time high. This has been a massive deal in Bitcoin. You can see right here, it was an issue. You can see right there was an issue. And we finally broke through that, closed, and now we're pushing up on the next weekly candles. That's what you want to see, is that weekly close and then further action, just to say, hey, maybe this is cleared. Now, I will say we had a close here, and then we had one close there as well, so you can get some fake outs. So if this reverses over the next day or two, maybe that's going to happen. But again, this looks really, really strong to me. And now that we're above that anchored view up from all-time high, the reason why these all-time high and all-time low anchored view apps are important, again, shout out to, I have it here, my buddy Brian Shannon and the book he wrote. I'll just leave that on. Maximum Trading Gains with Anchor View app. He's fully converted me. All right, you guys, again, if you followed the channel for years, I've been doing this for years now, you'll probably have noticed that more and more and more Anchored View app analysis and content has entered what I do. And a lot of that's just because I've just seen it work for a long period of time, and intellectually it makes a lot of sense to me. So the reason that the anchored view app from the all-time highs, I think, are important is because that's a real sentiment shift. So, if you go in here and you take a look, and you got this anchored view app from the all-time highs right up here, it's basically saying that if you started to buy Bitcoin at the worst possible time and dollar cost average into it, if you dollar cost average every week or so into Bitcoin and you start at the worst possible time, well, you're now up money, right? That's a big sentiment shift. You've been down, since the beginning, I think end of 2021. And now you're up money. So massive sentiment shift there when it comes to, okay, well, now, things are going okay. I'm making money now where I wasn't before. So sometimes with those all-time high anchored view app breaks and those sentiment shifts that come from it, you can get pretty substantial moves, right? Or it could just be kind of the change of the overall trend and say, hey, we're pushing up on this one. So that was it from the currency space. None of the other regular currencies, looked at my eyes at all. So we're going to go right over to my main platform here, Trade Ideas. We're going to start taking a look at the S&P 500, and we're going to go over to the weekly chart because it's the end of the week. So I still think eyes are on the August highs, right? It has to be on these August highs right here. We broke that last week. We pulled back this week. Just an inside week. The note I have on the email, I write just a little paragraph. Also on the emails, all the charts that I have, plus a whole bunch that I won't show here, just because if I go through, there's like 30 charts that I post every day. But yeah, the S&P 500, little inside day there, or inside week here. So really nothing to write home about, and on lower volume. So that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see a breakout on high volume. You want to see a weak pullback on lower volume. This is kind of textbook bull market type of activity. Now, one thing that I think may stall us, because we all know that tech has been the leadership in this rally, and tech has come to this resistance point, right? And again, I talked about this last week. Big run up right into resistance. Not shocking if you have kind of a pullback or you have some sort of rest, or you have something like that that's going on. So we have this little inside day or inside week in XLK. We could get another little pullback. We could pull back all the way to the breakout and still be healthy. But if I were a betting man, I'd say maybe another week or two, and then we're gonna break through that. It would shock me if we didn't break at least. If it ends up being a suckers rally, it's a suckers rally. But it'd shock me if we didn't at least break that a little bit. Tan, solar. So solar's breaking down. So we have green energy breaking down, which is interesting. Same with another one that I look at, PBW, which is just a green energy ETF, breaking down. So I just wanted to point that out. Again, I go through hundreds of charts, so you don't have to. And it just kind of struck me as, you kind of often see technology, semiconductors, all of these things move together. But when you see technology and semis move higher, and then you see a breakdown in tan, again, just kind of it kind of struck me a little bit. All right, so now we're going to go into the daily charts because we're going to go into the watch list. We're going to try to figure out what we're watching going into the end of the week, what we're watching going into tomorrow. I'll say one thing I did take. I also talk about some of the trades that I take here, right? Obviously not investment advice. I'm just some guy on the internet. But this MDB on this one. We have the anchored view app from before the gap, which is something that I watch all the time. You can see big, strong push up, and then we have a kind of an issue, came right through there, and then just rocketed. So when we held up in that area today, I took some shot today. Worst case stop is right down there. Another one that I didn't quite pull the trigger on. I got a day trade in it, but I got out before it was a swing. But I've added to the list now is this CELH. The reason for that is 15% short, but not only 15% short, 15% short on something that's hitting new all-time highs. And I said this all the time. If you're new here, you're hearing it for the first time, but all the time I say, hey, short float doesn't matter if the shorts are winning, right? So if your Bed Bath & Beyonds and your AMCs and your Carvanas or whatever, if they're tanking and they're heavily shorted, who cares, right? Where short floats matter is when the shorts are losing. And you never know for sure the exact price they got short, but if the thing's hitting all-time highs, they're all wrong. So if you have 14% short float and the thing's hitting all-time highs, right, they're wrong. So you kind of have to play around that. Mara, still in Mara. I wanted to show Mara on the weekly chart, right? Just a nice breakout on strong volume on Mara. So I'm still holding this one from, we've been watching this for a while and I took it. Main reason, again, is a 28% short float. So when the shorts are winning, who cares? But if we're going to get a catalyst where these things are going to start to push higher and break out, then those shorts are going to start losing and they may need to start cover. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for that one. Again, I'm just going through and seeing what's kind of new, what wasn't on yesterday's videos. And again, you can go to statsedgetrading.com. You can see everything that was on there yesterday. I did add a lot of positions, a handful. So actually, let's take a look and go through that. I think 5, yeah. So next, again, a lot of these are really, really interesting setups to me, and they're coming from the Trade Ideas scanner that I built that's looking at anchored VWAPs before large gaps. And again, if you go to statsedgetrading.com, you can click on the Trade Ideas link there and have a discount link to save you guys a few bucks. And that's an affiliate link, full disclosure. But what this scan is looking for, it's looking for an anchored VWAP from large gaps. You can see next year had a big gap on it. Now it's pulling back, and it's twice now struggled with that anchored VWAP. So, came right down to it on Thursday and then bounced, and then came right to it on Friday, sold a little below it, and then closed above it. So we can get some continuation on next over that $8 area. On this one, I'll probably give this one a shot. 7% short float, right? Nothing wild, nothing crazy, but something definitely to watch. KRYS, as I draw that in. Same kind of thing, right? So the idea behind this is we know that it's covered in his book that hedge funds and large institutions use anchored VWAP to fill orders. That's where they'll put in orders so that they can go to their clients and say, hey, I got a fair price on this. So if we see that, because we just don't want to guess that there's some institution filling an order there, But if a stock from a large gap pulls into that anchored VWAP, uses that support, and starts to move higher, that can tell us that, okay, maybe there is an institution looking to buy around here. So it means that we're kind of, riding the coattails of them. Because the question is always, where do I anchor the VWAP? For me, the large gap makes the most sense. Year to date makes a lot of sense. All-time highs, all-time lows. I don't like to get as nitpicky as some people are, swing highs, swing lows. We have scans for those, but I don't really use them as much. The idea that I want is I want to make it really obvious that this makes sense. Something happened to this KRYS. Something occurred where we had, big, awesome, relative volume, massive volume spike, and then a gap up the next day and a massive volume spike and a big run. So something happened here. As a guy who doesn't care about fundamentals, I really don't care what it is, but some awesome news happened here. So it makes sense to me that if a large institution sees this move, they can say, okay, I'm very interested in this security now because of whatever this fundamental reason is. Now go get me a good price, and that good price would be that anchored VWAP. So that's my idea behind them, and that's why I continue to use them. Monster Energy, this is from the TI Strength Alerts. I don't know if this gap down is real, but that might just negate it entirely, but that's fine. The idea is simply with monsters that, I didn't mean to grab that drawing tool, but so just ignore that. But basically, Monster Energy is really, really strong. We have a relative strength algorithm that just kind of shows things that are really strong in the market. And with Monster, you've got a clear level at $60. So if this can get and close over $60, I want to own it. If it doesn't, then, no harm putting it on a watch list. ALSN, another one from this relative strength algorithm. Just a nice, very basic bull flag at highs, right? And you don't need to get too fancy all the time. Big push up, sideways consolidation. If it breaks out of here, I think there could be some continuation. And UNM, same kind of thing, right? This one, if you go down to the weekly chart here, this picture-in-picture chart we have, you can see kind of 3 equal highs near this area. And it's coiling up really, really nicely and tight. So if this thing can get going, I think there can be some continuation there. So now, on a side note, and I'll always put these in the end in case people don't care, one thing I've been doing, and each week, and I highly recommend, shout out to my friend Perlman for this as well, is when I'm done this video and I schedule it and I upload it and I send the email and all that, I am deleting all charting applications, social media, messaging applications from my phone. I have a bunch of scheduled tweets that go out throughout the weekend. So if you don't want to join me on this, then my Twitter feed will have some stuff, but highly recommend it. Check it out yourself. I've been doing it now this will be the second week, and just the complete unplugging from the world has done a lot for my mood and my sanity. So just something I thought I would leave you with this week, right? It's summertime out, things are looking nice. Make sure you get out there, have fun with your family, and I will see you next week.